So first of all, I want to say thank you all for coming today. As important as it is to protest and organise vigils and direct action about what's going on in Palestine, it's also just as important to recognise the culture and keep it alive as long as we can. So thank you all for coming today. I want to give a couple of special mentions. We've got Sara Masry, who's come down from London here today to perform a bit later on, our lovely special guest. And we've had Inga Bystram surprise us by coming down this morning. This is all her work on this side.
The state of Israel is established, founded on displacement and terror. Ethnic cleansing created a nation. The Nakba erased the history. Executions, deportations and evictions. From Herzl to Sharon, Ben Gurion to Netanyahu. From the Golan Heights to Tel Aviv, the Red Sea to the Dead Sea. The policy is always the same, the obliteration of Palestine. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Far-right leaders stand with Likud, the flies feast upon corpses. Apache helicopters circle, children scatter in the alleys. When the bullets rain down, the prey are unprotected, the predator is ruthless. IDF snipers celebrate their kills with cheers inside the machinery of occupation. Detentions, separations, and violence with impunity. Indoctrinated discrimination and racism. O Israel, who shall be your God? From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. An ancient home, a biblical terrain, these occupied territories which Israel called a land without people, now graveyards in Jerusalem and Jericho. The wounds line the rivers and the streams, from the Mediterranean to the Red Sea. Tortured landscape and rewritten history, refugee camps with no right of return, conquest and colonized, the homeland of tears, where the past lives on in songs and poems, ancient civilizations beneath Israel. The land sings the spirits of the dead. 1948 and 1967 laid the foundations for the biggest prison on earth. All along the watchtower, the IDF keep the view. Inside the barbed wire slammer, the bulldozers cement an apartheid regime. The ghettos of Gaza and the West Bank, with daily harassment and confinement, violation of international law, so-called Greater Israel ideology, hand in hand with the American far right, a spy in the Middle East. The stars over Galilee are pale as death. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free.
I'm an artist, I'm more draw than draw. I'm just doing a drawing of Robert Sam over there. And I just want to give a big shout out to Poppy. She's been such a pleasure to work with. I met her at lovely Dan, known as Big Ben in the Scrubs, because of his climb up Big Ben with the Palestinian flag. And since I've been here, I've heard about Poppy writing plays and things like that. And I normally am at home in my little kitchen in Tottenham, or out on a local protest, or in a charity shop, or drinking coffees anywhere I can get a cheap cup of coffee and good service. But today I just woke up and I thought, yes, I think I fancy getting out. I went on train ride.
So now it's my absolute pleasure to introduce Sara Masry. So she's come down from London today to join us. In November last year, I saw Sara in Cutting the Tightrope, a play at the Arcola Theatre in London, discussing censorship and the lives of Palestinian people, and it was really, really beautiful. She was one of the leads in this, so I got in contact and she's come down today to perform for us. So please give her a massive, massive round of applause.
Thank you for organising this beautiful event, Poppy. Thank you all for being here. And I'm going to start by reading my own poems, and then a poem from a Palestinian writer, and then a quick note from a friend of mine in Gaza as well, if that's okay. So the first poem I wrote when I was thinking a lot about how the tragedies that we hear about are, the names and the details are so fresh in our mind for a while, but eventually, very sadly, because of the sheer amount of tragedy that we're experiencing and witnessing, they're not so prominent anymore. And I was thinking about how to hold all these stories and names in our minds. And today I just want to read this poem, which is about 4 boys, Ismail, Muhammad, Ahad, and Zakaria, who a lot of you might have heard were killed about 10 years ago on the beach playing football by Israeli naval missiles. The boys were aged between 9 and 12 and were from a family of fishermen. They were all cousins. The poem is called A Clear and Sunny Afternoon. A hot summer's day in Gaza, not a cloud in the sky, and 4 young boys couldn't resist an afternoon game by the breezy beach with the rest. Told to stay indoors, stay home, stay close. But just a quick match, Mama won't even have to know. Home in time for Teta's birthday bash. Besides, they'd all seen enough rockets blast through roofs, windows, doors, shrapnel and glass shattering flesh like dough. But the beach? Nothing bad ever happened on the beach. In fact, it was the safest place in all of Gaza to go. Decided, Ismail, Zakaria, Muhammad, and Ahad, defying travel restrictions, over-anxious family, made their way to Gaza's sparkling shoreline, no better place to be. Linked up with the others, teams formed, time to shine. Pass, shoot, pass, score. Ismail, hello, what are you looking over there for? All the boys turned to follow his gaze. Something coming fast from beyond the waves, piercing their sanctuary, no time to scream. 12 little legs ran, 8 not fast enough. Not fast enough. A tragic accident, their murderers claimed, as they absolved themselves of any and all blame. 4 blossoming lives never given a chance to truly know this world, its beauties, pains, and all, because they took a chance on the beach to play football. Is called Basma, and that's the name of my grandmother, and she was from Haifa, and she was a very bright light in this world until she left us in 2016. And she's my mother's mother, and my sister started a catering company named Basma's Kitchen, because she was really the heart of our home and our kitchen and our lives. Basma. Your name means smiling, and true to form, you always graced us with its warmth. Your smile remains etched in my mind long after you left us. But I wonder sometimes, where did you hide your smile when they kicked down the door, pushed you out of your room and the only home you ever knew in your 14 years of life? Where did you hide it when they shot your sister in the arm as you fled on a truck piled high with siblings, belongings, fear, and grief? You made it to Beirut, where family members took you in. You made a new life, spared from the refugee camps where so many lost and still lose theirs. I heard your father never really made it to Beirut, his body maybe, but never truly the same, leaving his spirit and his words in Haifa. But you eventually found your way, the love of your life, a new place to call home. In Jeddah, you started your family. To us, you were devoted completely. But still, I wonder, where did you hide your smile when you heard of the relentless massacres of your people? صبرا شتيلة, دير ياسين, كفر القاسم, شيخ بريك, الدوامية, بحر البقر, خان يونس, الأقصى, طنطورة, اللد, رفح, القدس. The list goes on, but the lives were cut short in the worst way imaginable. I know you found that smile though, or it found its way back to you. I know that for sure because it's the only way I remember you. Your traumas, your sorrows were not for public viewing. And if I have one regret, it's not asking you more, never wanting to bring you pain, remind you of the insurmountable losses, homeland, family, the city you called the most beautiful in the world. I allowed myself to be satisfied with your enchanting smile, which is etched in my mind, bringing me warmth and resolve to go on, keep fighting, resisting, generation to generation, so that when your land is finally free, your gorgeous smile will be the first thing I see. Thank you. So this last poem of mine that I'll read is, it was written a few months ago. I was really ill in bed, and it was when Trump had made that disgusting Riviera comment and making Gaza the Riviera and of the Middle East. And I just remember feeling so angry and not really able to move or even talk because I was very sick. And I just ended up writing this poem, and it actually made me, it was a bit of catharsis somehow. It's called Orange and the Buffoon. Last night, as we bid farewell to the day, a sick, decaying orange laid claim to a land far away, flanked as he was by a crooked goon whose bloodthirsty grin was giving genocidal buffoon. This Milikowski of Warsaw harbors his own far-fetched delusions of ownership belonging to a land that doth refuse him. This charade would be laughable were it not so inflammable. See, neither orange nor buffoon were met with semblance of resistance from so-called civilized nations eschewing all their conventions, as they salivated and smirked over this rich noble realm. This delusional duo forgot who stands at its helm. A people with more dignity, more honor than those dark, decrepit minds could in their wildest dreams ponder, and turn their backs, though they may, the soulless of the world, no matter. Gaza will rise, Gaza will defy any foreign hand to touch her. So I'd like to read the poem of Rifat al-Ar'ir. If I Must Die. Rifat al-Ar'ir was a professor, writer, poet, artist from Gaza, who was killed in an airstrike along with his family. And I'm going to read it in Arabic first and then English. إذا كان لابد أن أموت فعليك أن تحيا لتقص قصتي لتبيع أشيائي لتشتري قطعة قماش وبضعة خيوط بيضاء بذيل طويل حتى طفل في مكان ما في غزة يحدق بالسماء ينتظر أباه الذي غادر على عجل بلا أن يودع أحد حتى جسده حتى نفسه يرى الطائرة الورقية طائرة التي صنعتها تحلق عاليا ويظن لوهلة أن ملاكا عاليا يعيد الحب إذا كان لا بد أن أموت لتجعلها تجلب الأمل لتجعلها قصة. If I must die, you must live. To tell my story, to sell my things, to buy a piece of cloth and some strings. Make it white with a long tail so that a child somewhere in Gaza, while looking heaven in the eye, awaiting his dad who left in a blaze and bid no one farewell, not even to his flesh, not even to himself, sees the kite, my kite you made, flying up above, and thinks for a moment an angel is there, bringing back love. If I must die, let it bring hope. Let it be a tale. Thank you. I'd just like to end by sharing a voice note from a friend of mine, Mahmoud, in northern Gaza. He's been displaced 6 or 7 times, each time carrying his own and family's body weight in possessions. And just, I told him about this event that you were organizing, and I asked if he wanted to say anything. And his voice note is in Arabic. I'd just like to share his voice, and then I'll translate. I hope it's gonna work. The situation in Gaza is extremely difficult. We are dying slowly. No food, no drink, no work, no money. We can't even find any basic necessities. We face real hardship and unbearable fear. Every day there is bombing. Every day there are martyrs, and we are besieged from all sides. The world is silent, our voices are not heard, and we are tired of speaking. But today I feel that I have achieved a victory thanks to all of you. Perhaps my voice will be heard, and perhaps those listening to me now will feel us and make our voices heard. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for giving me the chance to speak and make my voice heard to such a great audience as those present now listening to me. From my heart and from the middle of my suffering, I send my greetings, my voice, and my thanks for hearing and appreciating my words. I'm absolutely certain that you will stand with us and make our voices heard. May the whole world hear, feel, and move. Gaza is appealing to the conscience of the world. Nothing more. Thank you. Thank you.
One of the slogans of the Palestinian movement, of Palestinians, a slogan that will be right across the mass demonstration that is taking place on the 17th of May, the Nakba 77 demonstration, a demonstration that will be one of many happening across the world as Palestinians and the Solidarity movement commemorate the Nakba, the ethnic cleansing of Palestine in 1948, when 750,000 Palestinians or more were driven from their homes and from their land. That slogan, which will be on those placards, is exist, resist, return. And that's where we got the title, if you like, for today's event. It's the art of existence. And that's not in the existence simply in the sense of survival in the teeth of the most terrible oppression, but existence tied to resistance and the vision of a free Palestine and return. And I think it's important to, as well as the protests, the resistance, looking for an end to an apartheid system, to celebrate not only what the Palestinians call sumud, just steadfastness, if you like, but for anyone who's been to Palestine, the flowering of culture, of art, one of the most educated populations in the region and indeed across the world. It was really a stunning privilege to sit down and talk to Palestinian students in the grounds of Bystram University when I went there now a quarter of a century ago. And it is no accident that Israel has made a prime target of destroying stone by stone, brick by brick, every single university in Gaza, because they are intent on destroying that relationship between culture, education, identity, and the resistance of the Palestinian people. We all know that the International Court of Justice found there was a plausible case for Israel having committed genocidal acts against the Palestinian people. Holocaust historians, Jewish Holocaust historians, Jewish Holocaust historians in the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, and other universities in Israel have now begun to declare that what is taking place in Gaza is genocide. And it's really in the movement, rather than the international court, that I think the real hope lies, the solidarity movement across the world. And we know that almost 62,000 people, including 17,500 children, have been killed by Israel. Over 14,000 on top of that are missing, presumed dead beneath the rubble. And since the 2nd of March, we are now into the 3rd month that Israel has blocked all aid supplies, food, medicines, fuel, water from entering Gaza. Médecins Sans Frontières, the medical charity, has said that Gaza is becoming a mass grave for Palestinians. So we need to celebrate the resilience and resistance of Palestinians today. We need to celebrate Palestinian culture. We need to celebrate art, but we also need to mobilize and protest.
The hourglass strains of its sand as I lie in wait of a message from you. Those in power make your life no less than a lottery. Day by day the strikes nearer to you. I know one martyr who wanted to be a singer. Now he will only sing to the stars. They walk over the rubble carrying possessions as a trophy, only monsters to them, something to eliminate. But we see the children dancing around Nusrat camp. We see the life ahead of them, their dreams of peace. History is going to haunt you. Every single hand that scrolled them away. When your children ask you what you did, be ashamed to say nothing. It is never too late to step onto the right side of history.
I struggle to find words, because isn't this all common sense? Why should common people tell those men in power that such atrocities are inhumane? Why should we learn about the power of legislation, UN, and freedom of speech when it seems that no course of action is being fulfilled? We learn about the history and its darkest sides. We are told it is so our children will commit the same genocide. We see crimes, hunger, mass murder unfold under our sight. We see the international law supporting those who claim to defend from oppression while committing the biggest one. News seem side with injustice, while millions suffer under rubbles of their homes. The mainstream propaganda, such as Sky News, BBC and CNN, uses power to vilify and dehumanize those who seek our help.
What does it mean to be free? With shackles marked on their wrists, they try to contain them in, but their identity runs deep in their bones, buried in the rubble they once owned. Stamped papers, waiting lines, checkpoint gates. They ask for their names, but never their story. Clutching onto their identity card, like the last piece of proof that they belong in their hills. A foreign resident written across, holding it tight on the soil that their great-grandmother remembered so vividly. On the soil that fig trees still grow on, swaying to the wind that speaks Arabic, carrying names that others try to forget. Hind Rajib, Razan al-Najir, Fatima Hasuna, Muhammad Bar. Where in dreams they run from cities, Haifa, Jenin, Nazareth, cities forced to live their truth only in our minds. 194. Used to hide from the eyes that see no value in them, forcing Palestine to exist as a memory instead of a map. But the Palestinian bluebird, perched onto broken windows, sings the song of the land they deserve to call home, echoing in the four walls that they try to hide them in. Yet the music cuts through the concrete, and the children dance to the rhythm of resistance. They clap and they pray like it's the only weapon they forgot to take. Red, black, white, green, flying so freely, wrapped in the olive trees that bend but do not break, standing tall in the land that knows their names. Basan, Hamid al-Rus, Hassama, Safiya, names that cannot be washed because history cannot be rewritten in someone else's ink. Inked mixed with the tears for those lost from the Nakba 1948 to Gaza in 2025. But for tears that fall from the river to the sea in celebration of the country that is loud enough to be seen, is loud enough to be free.
Orwellian coins are released on the same day human lives are exchanged in the game of genocide. Artificial intelligence scandals break the news and it filters into adverts on the TV. Everything feels so loud and I am frozen, pressed against the speaker. Met Police detain those laying flowers for the dead children, and I can't hear myself think. I am pressed against the speaker. It is just a game to you, isn't it? Just a twisted game. Flowers wilt on the Downing Street pavement, and those who have laid them are hurt and detained in their act of peace. And human lives are used as the playing pieces. A life for a life. Children screaming with joy at the disbelief, at the silence of their night. Himrajah watching down in disbelief. If only the game had ended before. If only her little body hadn't been broken by the shells of 335 bullets. We still haven't heard from the students in Ramallah. One told me she was ready to die on every morning cycle to school. I stir in my sleep picturing baby Ahmed's blood dripping through his little brother's rucksack. Where is their humanity? You landed here in a geographical lottery and it's clouded all forms of your empathy? All eyes on Rafa? Well, it's too late now. You can't look away this time. We are holding your heads.
The second poem is about my own personal feelings when you are sat in the comfort of your own house and you open your phone and you look and you scroll through Instagram feed and you go on TikTok and your whole social media platforms are just filled with videos of journalists on ground showing the truth, and you can just watch. And as I turn off my phone, about to fall asleep, my eyes cannot shut. I can keep thinking of them, how lucky I am to rest in my warm, cozy bed. My sister is fine and my parents are safe. My brother is in pain, but I'm glad he's well. As I watch these statistics double in numbers, I witness these leaders simply following orders. I watch as mothers identify their sons for examining limbs. I watch as fathers unbury their daughters from beneath heavy concrete. My eyes cannot shut. I can keep thinking of them and these horrific war crimes committed by those who claim to be oppressed. As I'm sat here in my warm, cozy bed, I'm losing my sanity as I begin to lose my vivid sense of reality. Media outlets that shamelessly lie and powerful leaders that refuse to cease fire. I'm forever condemning these atrocious acts and our humanity for not protecting other human rights. My eyes cannot shut. I keep thinking of them, how lucky I am to rest in my warm, cozy bed.
Girls Girl. I made a new best friend when I was 14. Her name is White Feminism. She was the cool big sister I never had. Sexy, sure of herself, glossy, strong. I can handle the mean boys, my imposter syndrome, and any insecurities with her by my side. I can handle anything with her by my side. She made me feel free to wear what I want to the party. She made me push for equal pay when I was 20. She said the treatment of Taylor Swift was the exemplification of the global female struggle. She said, "You go girl," when I took up space. She said Julia Roberts was the icon for sporting armpit hair on the red carpet. But then she said that the red carpet was more holy than any mosque. But then she told me that Kate Middleton's well-being was more pressing and newsworthy than the 50,000 pregnant women under the rockets. But then she told me that Sara deserves my purchase because a power suit will give me an edge for promotion at work. But then she told me that Starbucks was a white girl stereotype and I should own it by not boycotting because how could I face misogyny without my morning matcha fix? But then she told me to turn my head away from their crushed bodies and their blood and the rubble and the terrible smoke and the soldiers taking pictures with the dead and missing women's underwear and the BBC calling the little girls 6-year-old young women and the mothers who never got to name their children after dozens of rounds of IVF and the sanitary pads made out of tent scraps and the women shielding their olive trees from the tanks and the sirens and Bystram's pain and their weeping and their children's bones. She told me to take off my eyes and ears for now. She said, I had to have a breather from misogyny and focus on me because it's hard out here for us girl bosses. Look away, turn your head away, again and again and again and again and again and again. How many rotations off my head can my body take before white feminism makes it fall off entirely?
A child who survived the war was asked, what is it that you wish for? A child who lost his mother, his father, his little sister. A child whose arm lies beneath the rubble, crushed by the weight of the world. A child who smiled in the face of horror, who put his trust in God above all, replied softly without hesitation, I do not want a toy or a home by the sea. I do not dream of golden streets or a life of endless ease. I do not wish for what was never mine. I only ask for a paper and a pen to write a letter to the world, to the leaders, to the people, to those who have watched my suffering, to those who scroll past my people's screams. I want to tell them, do not weep for me, for even in loss I am blessed with what remains. The world must know that we will never leave the soil that holds the loved ones we have buried, to show them our mothers who hush their babies to sleep with lullabies, drowned by sirens and bombs, to show them our mothers who braid their daughters' hair, not knowing if tomorrow will still belong to them, to show the world that our women are keepers of life, the one who carries love and loss. They too are warriors, not with weapons, but with prayers whispered over cradles, the precious life they so carefully hold. But if I could have one final wish, it would not be the riches, nor revenge, nor escape, only this, to kiss my mother's forehead once more, to hold my little sister's hand, to bid my father farewell. That is all. Thank you.
This Thursday, the 15th of May, is Nakba Day. This is the day in which the Nakba is commemorated. It so happens that Dorset Council is meeting in full council on Thursday evening. We submitted a request for a deputation to the full meeting of the council to present a case why the council must divest from genocide, divest from every company complicit in the genocide in Gaza. We sent, I thought, a very good letter. Firm but polite. We were refused. No, you should go and talk to the pension committee. So we sent another, and they sent another. No, you should talk to the pension committee because that's the committee where decisions are made, and also it includes Bournemouth BCP as well. So it covers the whole pension fund. But what they didn't say is you'll be out of the public eye and no one will know about it, right? And also we don't want you to talk to all our councillors. So we sent another one and said, don't worry, we're going to go to BCP full council as well, and we're going to go to the pension committee. And we sort of pointed to the potential for public disapproval of their position, given what was taking place. And lo and behold, we got a third reply. We've agreed to allow you to have your deputation. I know it's a very minor level, but never give in. So we've got that deputation on Thursday to demand divestment from companies that include Leonardo's and others that are supplying the drones, shooting down those kids in Gaza. The F-35s that are bombing the hospitals and all the rest of it. So I think this is something we can do. And people might have other commitments, but if you don't, please join us at that lobby. Many of you would be able to come into the council chamber and hear the deputation. And I think on Nakba Day, of all days, we should try and make that a focus, not as an endpoint, but the beginning of a campaign in Dorset that really puts pressure on Dorset Council to join the 10 other councils that have voted to divest from arms. We have a book launch. A local member of Dorset PSC, who's emeritus professor at UEL, and who has written quite extensively on Palestine and the Middle East, has got a new book that was only just finished this February, Palestine, Imperialism and the Struggle for Freedom, and that will be at the Colleton Club at 7:30 on Tuesday the 27th of May. And last, but by no means least, we had a fantastic a festival of Palestinian culture last summer. Again, we had to fight against the teeth of initial opposition on the part of the town council, and we got an event which we estimated 500 people attended over the course of the event. This year, we have built on that, and this is largely due to Naomi, who's at the back there doing the tattooing, and her colleague in arms, Neil. But a whole week of events, including comedy, singers, and of course the cultural festival in the Borough Gardens on the 30th of August. So please take the leaflets, put it in your diary. It will be a fantastic event. And I hope to see as many of you as possible on Thursday outside Dorset County Hall. And for those of you who can possibly make it, please, the NACBA demonstration on Saturday in London, sign up for the coach. Free! 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 Free!